What's going on, y'all? This Pilgrims in the Earth. Pilgrims in the Earth back at you again. First and foremost, like always, all praises be to the Most High. Got my wife Tamika right here with me. Yeah, man. Getting into a special topic today. As you see, if you as you see the topic, are single mothers crashing out? Are single mothers crashing out? Considering all this news that's going on in the media, this is just an important topic that we need to discuss. Again, pilgrims in the earth. All right, y'all. Check this out.
The mother of two children who likely died from hypothermia in a car is speaking out tonight. Her 9-year-old son and 2-year-old daughter were found unresponsive after spending the night in the Hollywood Casino parking garage.
Over the past 24 hours, questions have been raised about why the family didn't get help. During a press conference today, Mayor Mike Duggan revealed that family called the city in November, but nothing was done.
For whatever reason, this wasn't deemed an emergency that caused an outreach worker to visit the family.
Tonight, I sat down with that mother. She is 29-year-old Tatiana Williams. She told me she and her 4 children had been living in their van for the past 3 months.
They said it was carbon monoxide. Or I don't know what it is. There's so many stories going around. I haven't even got the right story for my own kids. But one thing I do know is they could never be cold in that car. Because I keep gas in that car. I do what I got to do to keep them kids with heat. So it's not hypothermia. My kids could have never froze to death. But I called everybody. I called out of state. I called different cities. I called Detroit. I got on the cam list. I've been on the cam list for a long time. Nobody. Every time I call, they say it's no shelter, no bed. I thought I was doing the right thing. I tried to keep them warm at night. That's it. I was just trying to keep them warm. Nobody helped me. It took me to lose.
Meanwhile, let's get to this crime tracker alert. An Indianapolis mother is now charged with murder and child neglect after the death of her 2-year-old little girl who was found in just horrible conditions.
Yeah, Fox 59's Jesse Wells has reaction to the charges, and we do want to warn you the pictures and details of this story are very disturbing.
According to court records, the victim's mother admitted she knew she was neglecting her young kids by letting them live alone and in filth for days on end inside this apartment building behind me. While the suspect did her best to hide that neglect, she insisted she did not physically harm her kids on purpose. This disgusting bedroom with a feces-covered crib and mattress is where a 2-year-old girl died over the weekend. Police claim the entire apartment where the little girl and her young sibling lived was littered in feces, urine, garbage, and rotten food. Preliminarily, doctors believe Skylar Gardner died from hypothermia, but her body was also covered in bruises and bite marks with a puncture wound on her neck and frostbite on her feet and hands.
It's so sad on so many levels.
Attorney John Tompkins isn't connected to the case, but says the victim's mother, Chantel Gardner, was charged with murder and neglect, not because she intended to hurt her child, but because prosecutors believe she knowingly placed her daughter in a deadly situation.
The big story at 5, a horrific case of child neglect uncovered after 2 children were shot in Milwaukee. The mother of those 2 children is facing neglect charges.
Authorities discovered filthy conditions in her home.
Todd Hicks joins us with a first look inside that home. Todd.
Well, Mike and Carol, that woman is the mother of 2 children who were shot last Wednesday in a van near 36 in Hadley. Now, when police went to talk to her at the home, they made a sickening find and a warning tonight. Some of these images are disturbing.
Feces, cockroaches, and bed bugs.
Chief Ed Flynn is talking about the sickening conditions uncovered inside the home of Octavia Burton days ago. 2 of her children were shot.
What mother leaves her young kids alone in the house for 4 years?
Everybody's upset about it, like, oh my God, this is right in our neighborhood.
Apparently, this woman, her landlord, stopped getting rent and hearing from her, so he called 911 for a welfare check.
Had no idea that there were kids there, let alone kids in grave situation.
3 children were inside, trash piled up, poop everywhere. The kids said that their mother left them there since at least 2021.
They had difficulty walking because their toenails were so long.
A despicable discovery, and the Shade Room is digging. Her Facebook post that's got people on social media on 10. I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates. It doesn't get lower than this. It was Valentine's Day, a day to celebrate love. But it turned into a day of horror in Pontiac, Michigan, which is a suburb of Detroit. It was horror that a 15-year-old boy, a 13-year-old girl, and a 12-year-old girl had been living for years. This was their normal. We're blurring out some parts, but you can see the bathroom overtaken by trash, mold, and feces. The girls, they slept on pizza boxes. They had not seen the light of day since about 2020 or 2021. But how? Where were the neighbors? Where was the school district? Their extended family members? Questions that we're getting down to the bottom of.
We went to the house to check on what was going on there and had no idea that there were kids there, let alone kids in grave situation.
Their hair was matted. They were covered in urine and feces.
When we took the kids out of the house, they had difficulty walking because their toenails were so long. They hadn't had any grooming. I don't think they had basic hygiene.
What mother leaves her young kids alone in the house for 4 years?
Everybody's upset about it, like, oh my God, this is right in our neighborhood.
Apparently, this woman, her landlord, stopped getting rent and hearing from her, so he called 911 for a welfare check.
Had no idea that there were kids there, let alone kids in grave situation.
3 children were inside, trash piled up, poop everywhere. The kids said that their mother left them there since at least 2021.
They had difficulty walking because their toenails were so long.
A despicable discovery, and the Shade Room is digging. Her Facebook post that's got people on social media on 10. I'm Justin Carter. This is TSR Investigates.
What's going on, y'all? Once again, Pilgrims in the Earth. I didn't do that. I didn't buy this for that. I bought this for the kids. But yeah, man, on a more serious note, as you just seen, we seen a multitude of videos basically showing a lot of situations, unfortunate situations with single mothers and children. First and foremost, this is no disrespect to, single mothers, or single people that has been raised by single mothers. I actually was raised by a single mother who did her best, did a good job. So a lot of people, who's an example of a single mother and, where she did her best and took care of you, shouts out to y'all. This has got nothing to do with that. This is not men versus women. This is more of a serious situation that needs to be addressed, not only amongst all communities, but specifically the Black community, because we've been seeing these cases a whole lot. So, yeah, let me say this. Neglect starts with a conscious decision first. And I believe in a lot of these cases, these women don't want to relinquish their power. When I say that, let me be clear. I think in our generation, in our age, I think we have given mothers the sole authority or responsibility over these children, more so over the men, when it takes two to come together and, make a child. So what you have in these situations, when something goes wrong, we hold men and women responsible. We hold men mostly responsible. As you can see, everybody came out and started attacking the father. Now, you can't have it both ways where you holding the men accountable when something bad happens. But let's say if he wants to come get his children on his own accord, or he wants to spend time with his children, it has to go through the mother first. It doesn't, it has to be 50-50 always. But yeah, what you think about that? Let me ask you a question first and foremost. Is there consequences? Do you feel that there's consequences for bad parenting and neglect from a mother?
No, I don't think that there is. It's definitely no accountability when it comes to dealing with that from a mother standpoint. It's always giving them however many chances they need to take care of the child. I think that the system is
You gotta get in the camera.
I think the system is pretty much set up like that. It's all bad when you think about it. Naturally, the woman isn't supposed to be built to do everything when it comes to the child. So of course it's going to fail. So I think that's what the first problem is.
You saying like the whole responsibility on a woman is a problem?
Yeah.
It kind of weighs in with a lot of these cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And we're going to get into a couple points on, why, what we feel is needed and should be done to avoid things like this. Like she said, a lot of our fathers, I think it's like 70% of households are single mothers. So we have to get to the nucleus or the foundation of what's the problem. So number one, 2-parent households. Number one, if you look at statistically, right, a father is such an important role in a household, right? You're talking about disciplinary, you're talking about protection, many different things. But these are key components and key things that a child needs. So I think a lot of women, especially in these cases, they have a lot of mental issues because of the overwhelmness of the responsibility of a child. Now, I'm not saying, are you supposed to go unalive your child, or are you supposed to put your child in an unfortunate situation where they can lose their life? Absolutely not. But what I'm saying is ladies, it's not meant for you to take on the responsibility of raising a child by yourself. It just shouldn't be that way. When you choose to do that, then you have to take on everything that comes with it. Unfortunately, in situations like this being one of many cases like this. But yeah, did you want to say something on that?
I just think that it has just became the norm for it being okay with a lot of things, like as far as in single mothers. Single mothers are always been put up on a pedestal to the point where they are afraid to fall or, be seen in public that, basically they can't take care of their children by themselves. They can't handle it by themselves. So a lot of them, I think to a degree, be trying to protect their image, when it comes to that. But the kids are suffering. And it's just not a good situation.
That's key. That's key that you say that. A lot of these situations you will hear, I was trying to hit the father up. He was living 30 minutes away and I couldn't get a hold of him. I'm sure that 9 times out of 10, I'm sure that man didn't know that this situation would happen. Or I'm sure she probably didn't know that this situation would happen. But there's always 3 sides to the story, her story, his story, and the truth. But this unfortunate situation has happened and we need to, avoid this. Let me ask you, I know we asked the first question is, do you feel like women are held responsible? I mean, women are held accountable for their bad decisions. What about fathers? Do you think the system holds fathers accountable for their bad decision making as far as, what we always say, deadbeats or not being in the children's lives? Do you think, or even neglect, do you think the system holds fathers accountable for that?
I think they will hold the fathers more so accountable more than they would the mother. They will hold them accountable financially and things like that. But as far as them like giving custody of them, they will not give them the custody. And that's crazy in itself, because if their child their mother cannot provide for the child, why not give the child over to the father that can support that child?
If it all could be that simple, right, the world would be a better place. I think, the reason I say that is because when you look at statistics, when a child is raised by a single father, it's almost close to the statistics of a two-parent household. Because, do I think men are better than women? No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is men have qualities that are very vital or very important to raising a child. When you take the disciplinary out the home or the protection out the home, these are serious things that, my wife, for example, right? The children could be out playing. Her superpower might be different from mine. Hers might be, oh, let me get this food ready. Let me make sure it's clean in the kitchen. I'm always in military mode. Hey, I ain't heard my children laugh. I ain't hear them say nothing in a minute. Let me go check on them. So those are very important things. As you see in our community, there's a lot of, can I say the word molestation cases? You know what I'm saying? Children, underage pregnancy, all type of things. Underage pregnancy, all type of things. But if a father was in the home, when we had fathers in the home, I don't know about y'all, but when we was young, of course, I'm only 37, so, a lot of my friends I didn't have my father in the home, to some degree. But when we seen fathers on the block, you wasn't just going to Keisha's house and playing and going to her backyard and touchy-feely and none of that. Them fathers didn't play. A father not going to let you just come on up in their crib and do all these things that you want to do. There's going to be a sense of boundaries, structure. That's what fathers bring, structure. So like she said, answering the question, that the system kind of holds fathers accountable financially. Not only financially, if you don't pay your child support, what's going to happen? You can go to jail. You can lose your license, not be able to get your license, not be able to get your passport. And I speak from that because personally, I've been through it. I have an older child, my oldest son. I went through a whole situation trying to get custody of him. And the mother was very negligent, and we went to court. In the case, to try to get custody of my son and go into a negligent hearing that the mother kind of left him in a situation where it wasn't no water on in the house, anything you can name, no food in the refrigerator, house is a mess. And she went in the courtroom and straight lied. Her lawyer stood up and said, "Oh, Your Honor, he hasn't seen him since he was a baby." And I was like, "Hold on, that's a lie. I was just down here. I got pictures." "Oh, be quiet." And it's like, it's like almost to the point where is the system. This is going to lead to my next question. Is the system predicated on? Or is there an agenda of pushing the fathers out the home? So a lot of these things happen because it seems that way. What do you think?
Yeah, I think
Don't worry about it.
To a degree, I feel like the system know that the mother, like the lawyer mentioned, she's gonna mess up again. But you guys, the system knows that a woman cannot take on, especially if she has multiple children. The system know that, these mothers are having hard times and they can't, fully support the child like the child needs. So I think to a degree, it's the system fault as well, because you see these women, they're struggling, they're neglecting their children, and all y'all give them is a slap on the wrist, and then y'all look over the fathers, and these fathers be in stable homes. They have a family, they have a job, they have the qualities that a child needs when it comes to rearing them up to be better children, but they don't care. When it's all said and done, the system does not care.
Yeah, I agree 100%. In fact, in that case, I'm not going to talk about my situation too much, but in that case of, me not getting my son, I had a car, transportation, I had a home, enough room for him. I had, a job, and I had help, my wife, and I had children, up 2 other children. And I mentioned that, and of course he was in another state, but, the Michigan, they actually wrote me a letter of recommendation, like, to them, like, hey, tell them, we support you getting your child, we don't know why you don't have your child, but like we say, there has to be an agenda here. And also women, y'all have to understand that there is an agenda. So put your pride to the side, both parents, because fellas too, if a sister does need help, or some she needs a place for the child to go or whatever, put our pride to the side and bring these children in, because we living in a very crazy world. We living in a crazy world where these children, they need assistance. You get what I'm saying? They need a mother, they need a father. But yeah, let me get into the next question here.
This last point I wanted to make too. Sure. A lot of times, because they will say, when a mother, fall on short times, or they will give them second chances, they will give them parenting classes to go to if they, neglect or found that they were neglected. But they won't give that opportunity to the father. Like the example they gave, he hasn't seen his child and such and such. Okay, so how about he go through parenting classes and build a relationship with the system and see how that goes? Why y'all don't give that opportunity to the father?
That's crazy. That's crazy. You remember they just kept giving my child's mother chance after chance, and she basically was supposed to take parenting classes, which she didn't complete. And we was doing Zoom calls around the COVID time. I'm like, well, hey, I'm here. When do I get my chance? You know what I'm saying? So basically, get off of that. For a father to be fair enough, I think a lot of us just don't want to put the financial burden on ourselves, and the emotional burden. You talking about court date after court date, money after money, and you always hear the conversation of why you didn't fight hard for your child, or you didn't fight hard enough. Why should we have to fight for a God-given right to be a father? You know what I'm saying? You shouldn't have to take, a lot of these women need to just get their children up to their father. You know what I'm saying? Even if the father is not financially responsible, if I cannot take care of my child and the mother is not together, I don't have a problem with relinquishing, the child, to the mother. We shouldn't even be bringing the law even in these situations. But unfortunately, I think social programming has a big influence in a lot of these breakups. And that's going to get into, another one that I wanted to bring out. Do you believe families are giving women good advice in these situations? Not saying situations as far as, children are getting unalived or neglect, but do you think when a woman and a man, because they say, you ever hear the term, it takes a village to raise a child? And that was back in the day. Do you think that families are kind of like a good support system nowadays, and they're giving like the proper advice to a lot of these women, single mothers?
I don't think they are. A lot of times, even when you even get into a relationship, like nobody supports the relationship. So when a child comes in the picture, it's where the father at when it comes to financial support, things like that. But it's not no accountability when it comes to actually being build in that family, actually having that support system, because it's always where the father at if the child need anything, or if you need somebody to watch them, what the father doing, what this and that, the father. But it's no structure when it comes to actually raising that child. And to be honest, it's like, forget the father. When it comes to if your relationship end with that man, it's like forget him. But then you better put him on child support. And that's messed up in itself too.
Dang, that is true. Of course, a relationship is looked at as different as a marriage, and of course in America, but by common law, a lot of people are considered being married. But I think even people being married, I think marriage is not honorable anymore, or looked at as honorable anymore. Like I've always showed in living on the continent of Africa, a lot of the families, they integrate. Once the man and the woman, they decide to, come together and get married, those two families will come together and support each other. They will support each other. They're almost integrating together as one. So, of course, our communities and our families in America have been broken down to the degree of, we barely even see our own family, let alone two families coming together. So I don't think the support is there. And of course, once you take support out, you have a lot of women just making irrational decisions. You get what I'm saying? Personally, I don't know why the sister made that decision to leave the children in that. And didn't they rule that out? Did they say it was because of hypothermia or?
It was something else they said that came out. They said it was due to carbon monoxide.
Carbon monoxide. Okay, so
Yeah.
those children had to been in that car with the car running for a significant amount of time that will cause them to lose their life. And whether that's true or not, that's still unfortunate. It's they still shouldn't have been living in no car. You get what I'm saying? And me, I'm a firm believer of if we got to struggle, we got to do it together. But the thing about me and my family, when we do struggle, like I say, we do it together. We didn't have to live in hotel rooms. You remember that? We didn't have to live in hotel rooms, but we thugged it out together. You get what I'm saying? And if we had to be in a car, I would tell her, hey, I'll do it. I'll stay in my car. You go to your people's crib for a while until we can get it together. Hard times happen to everybody, but there are resources that's out there that I really don't understand why wasn't utilized. I know the sister said she tried to get some help, but all these naysayers, as far as family, he was this, he was that. Where was y'all at? All these Section 8 HUD programs and all this, low incomes and all that. Where were all these family, for the support? Because there should be, a whole community or family that's supposed to stand by a woman when she's pregnant or when she has a child. But let me get into this next one. So, let me ask you this. Should we, do you think if they were married, should we marry before we carry? And do you think that's a big problem in a lot of these cases? Or that could solve a lot of neglect issues and single motherhood, deadbeats and all that? Do you think marrying before you carry can be a solution?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, it helped back then. Our ancestors, they was married for years and years. And I think that can help a lot. It can solve a lot of this chaos when it comes to man versus woman, baby mama, baby daddy issues, all those things. Like, when it's all said and done, you should be married before you even bring a child into this world. Have a foundation that you build between you and that your spouse. Because if you don't, you're doing it the wrong way. That's not how the Most High set it up to be. So that's why a lot of times these situations fail to begin with, because it wasn't supposed to be like this.
Yeah, and you can only really establish a marriage based on, like she said, a foundation. You can't establish a marriage at a one night stand at the club. So there's a lot of irresponsible sexual behavior in our community from men and women. And it just needs to be addressed and shamed. You know what I'm saying? We all are products of it. We all did it. We all have done it. But at some point, we have to start. Children are supposed to be the most important thing in a community, in a nation, and anywhere. Children are supposed to be the priority in all situations. People don't play about no children. When you go to other countries, they don't play about children. Of course, in America, we have been desensitized because you hear about all these children coming up missing and all this crazy stuff that's going on. But let me read this, man. I said, we see examples of these women every day living in survival mode by choice, because there's always resources for women, but we see them, in these situations in survival mode. There was just a brother that went viral, that he basically was putting a lot of single mothers on blast. Like a lot of these nice looking chicks that y'all think is living up the part. You go in their house and it's looking a mess. They living in filth. It's crazy. Like, you would never know how a lot of people is living. On the gram, it look good. On Facebook, it look good. But a lot of them need help. And like my wife said, I think they're still trying to hold up that I got this.
Single, independent, strong woman.
Yeah, it's pride. It's pride. So, for example, when I talked about my situation, or if something unfortunate, let's say my child's mother could have blamed me, or what was the father at? I had no idea, because in a lot of these situations, you don't even know. You can't even get in contact with the child, let alone be checking. You know what I'm saying? I done got blocked and all that. So I can only imagine the manipulation and the tactics. So you fighting against the mother and you fighting against the court system. So women have to realize, hey, sis, this is an agenda to not only get the father out the way, but eventually get you out the way. And in a lot of these situations, when that child is in the system by themselves, they getting all type of shots that you haven't volunteered for or gave permission for. All type of things, and CPS going through the system, getting touched on and all that. So your father, your child's father, your baby mother, it shouldn't be an enemy. Enemies at war. It shouldn't be Russia versus, the USA. It should be we working in conjunction together to raise these kids. You get what I'm saying? Me and my wife, you don't think marriage get hard and, people want to leave or I want to go my own way. But at the end of the day, these children are the main priority and we need to raise them up and break these generational curses. So, yeah, I remember going into the Walmarts, what you see all day at your local Walmart. You see colorful wigs, some leggings, outlandish outfits. And some kids, single motherhood in our neighborhoods is all overwhelmingly a problem. You get what I'm saying? You can see it at the schools. You have teachers complaining like these children's scores, their reading scores are horrible because as a mother, if you are raising this child by yourself, you have to go to work. You have to provide. You have to put food on the table. Who are raising these children? Is it the tablet? Is it the phone? Is it the PS5? We have to do better as a people. And women are not the primary to blame. We have to start, like we say, marrying before we carry. But yeah, that's all I really had to say on this. But yeah, I had to bring awareness to this, man. And, basically ask y'all, like, is single mothers crashing out? And what do we need to do as far as a community to, do better? You got anything else to say?
When it comes to, you said, are single mothers crashing out? I think to a degree, these women are starting to realize that they cannot do it by themselves. They don't want to admit, like, dang, I cannot do this alone. So when it comes to them crashing out, just you need to talk to your child's father, see what y'all can do, what y'all can agree on, and work together, because it's not worth you losing your child, worth you losing your mind, things like that. When it comes to your children, put your children first and communicate whatever you need to communicate with that child father, and y'all go from there.
Exactly, because we coming into some hard times, man. As you see, inflation, the economy is not the same. People losing their jobs. These children need mother and father together because, I support, mothers and fathers. Work it out. You ain't got to be, excuse me, my bad. She laughing at me. But yeah, man, back on a serious note, yeah, mothers and fathers should work it out, man. The climate of not only America, but the world, man, people is struggling. You get what I'm saying? Them bills is adding up. Them work checks ain't mathing. You know what I'm saying? It ain't doing what it used to do back in our parents' ages. You know what I'm saying? So that single mother thing is not a badge of honor. So we have to put that down, and men, we have to stand up and get back and being providers and protectors of our families. And also I wanted to say to the men too, a lot of these women already be red flags. So me personally, my biggest problem is dealing with a woman that I should have never dealt with. You get what I'm saying? A lot of people that's going through, No, I'm not talking about you, of course. But yeah, a lot of times we sit back and we blame these women like, oh, she do this, she won't let me see the child. But bro, you met her at the club. You met her at the strip club. What was so Yeah, that's all I wanted to say about that. Go ahead.
And I would say just get the system out y'all business, because they not here to help you. If you can work something out with your child father or your baby mama without the system, try to do it, because ain't no way you should be going in and out of court just for somebody else to just side with you. Just be able to get the court out your business and be able to create a better foundation for your kids. Because the system is not for us.
Right. If you're going to lie to the system, why not do it together? I'm just joking. I was joking. But yeah, for real though, it's hard out here. Food stamps, all that, you know what I'm saying? I can go half on that $3 rent. So yeah. But anyway, man, once again, it's Pilgrims in the Earth. Yeah, man, y'all like, share, subscribe. Y'all go check out my wife's channel. What's she called?
Feminine Nurturing and Virtuous Journey.
Feminine Nurturing and Virtuous Journey. What you got on there? You got a lot of good content for women, not only just women or wives, but single women also. Some good tips, right?
Yeah, and I just basically I briefly spoke about this same topic. So it's very needed right now.
Yeah, y'all go like, share, y'all go subscribe to her channel. You know what I'm saying? She gets more into that. I'm more into like the doom and gloom of the world, and the Satan ruling and Babylon falling and the zombies attacking and all that good stuff. But yeah, man.
And y'all be patient, because I'm not used to speaking at all. So this is a journey for me in itself. So y'all be patient with me, because I'm just starting to get,
the confidence.
Familiar.
It's all good. Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, man, y'all like, share, subscribe. Peace.